It began with hunger. Not the kind you feel in your stomach, but the kind that burns in the soul of the universe. Galactus, the Devourer of Worlds. The endless hunger. The balance between life and death. When the multiverse collapsed, Galactus watched silently. Worlds blinked out one by one. Reality folded in on itself. And as the last fragments of existence crumbled, he felt something new. Emptiness. No more planets. No more energy. No more sustenance. Even a god must feed, and the end of everything meant the end of him. But then, a light pierced the void. The Beyonder, an all-powerful being who had stitched together fragments of dying universes to create one final world. A patchwork planet of gods and monsters, Battleworld. To the Beyonder, it was a game. To Galactus, it was a feast. The heroes of Battleworld, Avengers, X-Men, and even Doom, had just begun to understand the Beyonder's cruel experiment when the sky turned purple. It wasn't thunder. It wasn't magic. It was him. A shadow larger than continents. A hunger that made even Doom's heart tremble. Galactus had found Battleworld. "Behold," said Reed Richards, "the Devourer comes for the last meal in the universe." The Beyonder appeared, radiant and amused. "Ah, the Destroyer seeks my toy. Let him try." And for the first time in all existence, two cosmic gods faced each other. The Beyonder, embodiment of creation. Galactus, essence of destruction. Light met darkness. Creation met consumption. And the sky screamed. The battle shattered reality itself. The oceans boiled. Mountains turned to dust. Heroes scattered as the fabric of Battleworld trembled. Doom, Reed, and Strange watched from the edge of Doomstadt, their machines straining to record the impossible. "No mortal power can stop this," whispered Strange. "If either wins, the multiverse dies." But Doom only smiled. "Then let the universe bow before the victor, for I will take his throne." As the cosmic storm raged, Galactus struck first. He unleashed the power cosmic, draining the Beyonder's constructs, consuming matter and energy faster than the god could reshape it. The Beyonder countered with pure reality manipulation, turning stars into swords, oceans into flame, time into chains. But Galactus was relentless. Every attack, every creation, every spark of energy, he consumed it all. Because that's what he is, the end of all things. In the chaos, Doom saw opportunity. Using fragments of stolen power from Molecule Man, he tried to absorb both beings' energy. He stretched his hands to the heavens, his armor glowing white-hot. "I am Doom. I take what I deserve." But this time he took too much. The energy of two gods ripped through his body. His armor cracked. His mask melted. His screams echoed across all of Battleworld. And then he was gone. Disintegrated. Galactus absorbed Doom's essence without even noticing. The Beyonder, weakened, finally faltered. Galactus' massive hand reached forward, a being of pure hunger touching the source of creation. And then he devoured him. Everything went silent. The storms faded. The light died. The stars bowed. And from the ashes of that impossible clash, a new being emerged. Not Galactus, not the Beyonder, but something beyond comprehension. He called himself Galacta Beyondrous. But to those who survived, he was simply known as the Cosmic Hunger. Battleworld trembled under his gaze. Every life form, every particle, every soul now existed only to feed him. His voice echoed across the world, both beautiful and horrifying. "This world is mine. Its life force, its matter, its will. You are all sustenance to the eternal hunger." He raised his hand, and entire regions of Battleworld vanished, absorbed into his endless form. The Age of Doom had ended. The era of devourance had begun. The surviving heroes gathered in the ruins of what was once the Shield. Reed Richards, Doctor Strange, Thor, and Captain Marvel. Their faces pale, their power nothing compared to what they faced. "We can't fight him," said Thor. "He consumes gods." Reed nodded grimly. "Then we don't fight his body. We fight his mind." But before they could act, Galactus' new form appeared in the sky, stretching across the horizon, larger than the planet itself. The ground shook as his voice rolled through the heavens. "Resistance feeds me. Fear nourishes me. Fight if you must. It will only make me stronger." And with that, he began to devour the sun above Battleworld. The sky turned black, and the last light of hope began to fade. The heroes looked up, tiny, fragile beings against an impossible god. Reed whispered, "If we can't kill him, we'll have to find a way to starve him." And that was the day the rebellion began, against the god who could never die. The day mortals decided to outsmart the hunger of eternity. Because on Battleworld, survival was no longer about power. It was about hope. Darkness. That's all that remained above Battleworld. The stars had vanished. The sun was gone. The only light came from the burning edges of the sky, flames licking across the atmosphere as Galactus, now fused with the Beyonder's essence, devoured the last remnants of cosmic energy. Every life form, hero, villain, or god, could feel it. That creeping, cosmic emptiness. The hunger wasn't just physical anymore, it was spiritual. Weeks passed, maybe months. Time didn't mean much anymore. Battleworld had become something else entirely. Mountains floated like crumbs of bread in a void. Cities had melted into oceans of raw matter. And in the center of it all, towering over what was left, was the World Engine, a colossal structure grown from Galactus's will. It pulsed like a heart, feeding, expanding, rewriting the laws of reality. The Devourer wasn't consuming worlds anymore. He was remaking them in his image, a patchwork of energy networks designed to feed him forever. But deep underground, in the forgotten ruins of Doomstadt, something stirred. A heartbeat, a whisper, a plan. It began with Reed Richards. He was exhausted, gaunt, his once brilliant mind pushed to its limits. But he wasn't alone. Doctor Strange, Thor, Captain Marvel, Black Panther, even Magneto and Dr. Octopus, former enemies, had joined him. They called themselves the Remnants. Their goal wasn't to destroy Galactus. That was impossible. Their goal was to outthink him. They gathered around a flickering holographic display, a map of Battleworld now covered in purple energy veins, like a diseased body. Reed pointed to the largest pulsating node. "This is the core nexus. It connects his power to every fragment of this world." Strange frowned. "Even if we reach it, his awareness stretches across reality. He'll see us coming." Reed's eyes darkened. "Then we need someone he won't see." That's when a figure stepped forward, cloak torn, eyes glowing with vengeance. "Molecule Man, he took everything from me," he said quietly. "My power, my purpose, my mind. But I still remember his hunger." Reed nodded. "Then you're our key." The plan was madness. They would use Molecule Man's remaining connection to the Beyonder's power to infiltrate Galactus's consciousness. If they could reach his mind, they could sever his connection to the World Engine, cut off his food supply, starve a god. Thor slammed her hammer against her palm. "We're going to starve the unstarvable." Captain Marvel smirked. "Let's just hope we don't become the main course." And with that, the Remnants began their final campaign. They launched their attack at dawn, if dawn even existed anymore. The sky was violet. Lightning cracked horizontally across the horizon. The World Engine loomed above like a mountain of machinery and flesh, half metal, half living energy. Galactus's voice echoed through the clouds. "You come to me again, small lives? You offer yourselves willingly?" Thor raised her hammer. "Aye, but not as your meal." She hurled Mjolnir, and for a moment, lightning carved through Galactus's armor. It was like striking a star with a pebble, but it got his attention. While the god's gaze turned to the skies, the others slipped beneath the surface, through tunnels carved by Molecule Man's will. The deeper they went, the more the world changed. Walls pulsed like veins. Energy hummed through the ground like blood. They weren't walking through a machine, they were inside a living god. At the heart of it, they found it, a sphere of pure light. The hunger core. Every soul Galactus had ever consumed pulsed within it. Millions of voices screaming silently. Reed stared at it, awestruck. It's not just energy, it's life itself. Molecule Man closed his eyes, feeling the echo of the Beyonder within. If I can reach him, maybe I can separate them. But Galactus sensed it. The walls trembled. A shadow fell over them, and a thunderous voice roared through their minds. You crawl through my veins, you gnaw at my essence. Did you think I would not feel you? The air thickened. Gravity folded inwards. Half the team was crushed instantly. Dr. Octopus and Magneto turned to dust. Reed shouted, "Now, Molecule Man! Do it now!" Molecule Man screamed as he unleashed everything he had left. Reality bent. The hunger core cracked open like glass. And for a split second, Galactus's consciousness split apart. The Beyonder's voice echoed from within. "Release me, or we both die." Molecule Man hesitated. He saw the faces of everyone who'd fallen. Then he gritted his teeth. No gods. No masters. He shattered the connection. A shockwave rippled across Battleworld. The sky split. Galactus howled, his form fracturing into light and darkness. The world engine began to collapse. The heroes were thrown across dimensions. And when the dust cleared, the god of hunger was gone. But in the silence that followed, Reed looked around and realized something terrifying. The ground was still pulsing. The air still alive. The sky still purple. Galactus was gone, but the hunger remained. Molecule Man collapsed, whispering weakly, "He's not dead. He's everywhere now." Because by separating him from the Beyonder, they hadn't killed him. They had set him free. Across Battleworld, every tree, every rock, every molecule began to hum. The hunger was no longer bound to one being. It was now in everything. The Devourer had become the world itself. Reed stared into the swirling sky and whispered, "We didn't stop the hunger. We became it." And as the world trembled again, the heroes realized the truth. Their victory had doomed them all. Silence. That's how it always ends. Not with screams. Not with thunder. Just silence. The kind that settles after the universe takes its final breath. Battleworld was no longer a world. It was a living, breathing paradox. A planet made of hunger, pulsing with the remnants of Galactus's will. Every mountain was his muscle. Every storm was his breath. Every heartbeat was his own. The heroes who survived could feel it. Every step they took, every word they spoke, they could sense the Devourer listening, watching, feeding. Because now, the god was the ground beneath their feet. The new nature of the world, Reed Richards, stood atop the ruins of Doomstadt. What was once the last fortress of man, now was half sunk into a sea of living light, its towers shifting and reforming like tissue. Around him stood the last of the remnants, Doctor Strange, Thor, Black Panther, and Captain Marvel. Their numbers had fallen, but their will hadn't. "He's not gone," said Strange quietly. "He's just diffused. Everywhere and nowhere." Reed nodded. Galactus has transcended his form. He's achieved what no being ever should. Omnipresence without limitation. Thor tightened her grip on Mjolnir. "Then he'll starve forever. Because there's nothing left to consume." Reed turned, grim. "That's the problem. He's feeding on existence itself. The longer he lives, the faster everything dies." They needed something beyond logic, beyond physics, beyond power. They needed creation. Doctor Strange closed his eyes. There is one spark left, a fragment of the Beyonder's essence. Molecule Man scattered it when he severed the link. Reed frowned. "If we could find it, we might reignite creation itself," Strange finished. The idea was madness. But madness was all they had left. So they began their journey through a dying world that was slowly devouring itself. They crossed the wastelands of what was, where time collapsed in on itself, and ghosts of heroes flickered in and out like broken memories. They saw echoes of Spider-Man, of Doom, of the X-Men, all feeding the living energy of the world. Each step was a war. Each breath was a struggle. Thor fought beasts made of starlight. Captain Marvel burned holes through Galactus's flesh-like sky. Black Panther led them through shifting terrain that tried to swallow them whole. And finally, at the heart of it all, they found it. A light, faint but pure, floating above a crater of pulsing cosmic veins. The last spark of the Beyonder's power. They stood before it, exhausted, broken, yet resolute. Strange raised his hands, his voice trembling. If we touch it, it could kill us all. Reed stepped forward, or it could bring everything back. The air began to vibrate, the world realizing what they had found. The ground cracked open. Galactus's voice echoed from the depths. You cannot undo hunger. I am the necessity of existence. Creation feeds destruction. You need me. Reed stared upward, defiant. Maybe we do, but we don't need you controlling it. He turned to Strange. Now, Dr. Strange unleashed his spell. The Beyonder's spark flared. Thor struck it with lightning. Captain Marvel poured her cosmic energy into it. Reed activated his dimensional device, channeling the frequencies of the old multiverse. The ground convulsed. The sky split open. Galactus screamed, a sound that shattered galaxies. You think to starve me? Reed shouted through the roar. No, Galactus. We're going to feed you something new. The spark erupted, pure creation flooding through the Devourer's body. For the first time in eternity, Galactus felt full. Not with energy, not with power, but with balance. His hunger stopped. His form began to dissolve into light. When the light faded, the heroes stood on grass. Real grass. A sunrise broke across the horizon. The first real sun in what felt like forever. Battleworld was gone. In its place stood something else. A world reborn. A fusion of realities, Earths, realms, timelines, woven together by the final act of creation. Reed looked at the sky. We did it. We rebuilt something new. Dr. Strange smiled weakly. Not rebuilt. Reborn. Captain Marvel looked around. Where's Galactus? Reed pointed upward. High above the clouds, a massive silhouette hung in the heavens, still recognizable, but serene. He's there, watching, not as a devourer, but as a guardian. Galactus had become what the Beyonder once was, a caretaker of balance. The hunger had finally found peace. Years later, children of the New World would look up at the purple star in the sky and ask, "What is that light?" And the elders would say, "That is the Watcher of Worlds. Once he consumed everything. Now, he protects what's left." Legends called it the era of renewal. But Reed Richards wrote it differently in his final journal. We thought we were saving the universe. But the truth is, even hunger deserves redemption. And with that, the page turned, the story of Battleworld ended, and the multiverse began anew.